Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I posted a video talking about everything I packed in my backpack when I went backpacking across Europe. And so you guys really liked that video, so today I want to go over how you can actually backpack across Europe cheaply. And so here are some of my tips and trips. Tips and tricks. I am going to put everything into four categories, which is transportation, accommodation, food, and fun. Starting off, I want to talk about transportation. So, firstly, I want to say that you should probably choose a cheaper destination if you're hoping to travel on a budget. Obviously, if there is somewhere you really want to go, I'm sure you could make that happen, but definitely keep in mind what places are cheaper when you are backpacking across Europe. I would generally recommend, if you're trying to stay on a budget, to go to Eastern Europe because it is a lot cheaper than Western Europe. And there's usually a lot more young people because I feel like young people are more broke and are trying to travel on a budget. So I would recommend Eastern European countries, which tend to be a lot cheaper. And I'm not going to go through the specifics of what countries are the cheapest. You could look that up on your own. But that is what I would recommend. And secondly, when we're talking about plane tickets, I would recommend if you're a little bit closer to a bigger airport, say like, I don't know, New York or like Cincinnati or something like that, like a bigger city, and you're flying in from there, it might be a little bit worth it to make the extra drive, depending on how far is away. Once you're getting to like a few hours away, maybe it would be cheaper to leave from your local airport, but that could definitely save you a lot of money on your plane ticket, is leaving from a bigger airport. I would also recommend booking a round trip ticket if you know when you're coming back. That could save a lot of money for sure on international flights. And then I know everybody and their mom says this, but Skyscanner and Google Flights, like if you use the Skyscanner Anywhere feature, which is what I prefer, or the Google Flight, just scrolling the globe, you would also find some really good deals on there. And I would obviously recommend Skyscanner. It's easier to use, and I think Google Flights only lets you go up to like 2 weeks on a round trip ticket. So, yeah, I haven't really figured out how to use Google Flights for like long trips. But if you use Skyscanner, put in their everywhere feature, and you could probably find some European countries like where you could probably land to start your trip. So if you're wherever you want to start your journey, you could just choose that on Skyscanner, find a good deal, and book it that way. I would also recommend traveling during the off season, so like mid-November to March is gonna be cheaper on plane tickets and just everything else, hostels and tourist attractions. They're all gonna be a lot cheaper. And then I would also say you do not need a carry-on. This right here, this backpack that I've taken everywhere, this is fine. It's 40 liters. At least that's what it says online, and I'd recommend it. It's super durable. It only cost me like $40, I think, maybe even less. And it's a really great backpack. I took it as a carry-on, and you do not need to spend extra money, guys. Trust me, you do not need to spend extra money on carry-on. That is fine, and even the cheapest flights I've been on, they've taken that, and it saves you a lot of money. So you don't need a lot of stuff if you're backpacking. That is fine. And so then I also do want to say, the other part of transportation, which would be buying the Interrail pass. A lot of time Interrail or Eurail will have discounts if like it's a certain part of the year. Usually they run a few a year. It runs between like 15 and 20%. I got a 20% discount on my ticket when I went interrailing, and just like to show you guys for some context, so like say this pass for 5 days within a month. So instead of being $289, it's about $239.70, which is pretty good at 15% off, or 20% off is even better. But definitely wait if you have the time and see if you could get a discount on that, because they do it, I swear to God, like every year. They usually do some kind of deal, so be looking out for good deals on their website. And then Accommodation, I would say there are a lot of options out there. Hostelworld is the one that everybody generally uses, and I know if you go on Hostelworld, you could find a hostel and then go on their website, and that will save you a couple bucks sometimes if you book directly on the hostel's website and not on Hostelworld, because I know Hostelworld takes a percentage of their profits. And then I know when I was interrailing, a lot of the hostels had coupons on Hostelworld for with the Interrail pass, so I just kind of plugged that in. Saved me like $1 or $2 sometimes, but it still added up and it was pretty nice. And then you could also book an Airbnb. It could be cheaper. I know a lot of people don't always really think about that, but if you are interrailing with a couple people and you split the cost, it could save you some money. And then also, I would say that if you're open to it, Worldpackers, if you want to stay for a little bit longer in a place, I know you could save money on both food and accommodation, pretty much get it completely for free if you're just willing to work about 20 hours a week in a spot. And there are a ton of different things. I've never done Worldpackers, and I plan on doing it. I'm hoping to do it probably even next summer is my goal, but I've heard great things about it, and it could be a good way to save money. And then food, this is a very basic one, but like I said, food does not need to be expensive. You could just go to the supermarket, cook your own food. Hostels a lot of time have kitchens, so it's definitely super easy. Just make yourself pasta every day. You could be living from like $10 to $15 a day. On some really cheap food, and like I said, say you're like somewhere like Iceland compared to somewhere like Poland. Obviously, like the food in Iceland, because they're importing a lot of stuff, it's a more expensive country for a lot of things. So definitely it is very country dependent how much food costs. But I would say, like, if you're on the cheaper side, a lot of the time you could go from like $10 to $15 a day if you're just cooking food on your own. And then lastly, fun. There is a lot of free stuff, especially if you're staying in hostels. So you could do free bar crawls or walking tours with the hostel. My phone died, so that's why there's a bit of an abrupt cut there. So like I was saying, beaches are free. There are so many free things that you could do while you are traveling. So if you just stay on the lookout, look online, look other places, you could definitely find a lot of free things to do. And so $10 a day for fun is a pretty reasonable goal. And so I would say a solid budget you could be hitting is like $50 a day. It includes like food would be about $10 to $15 a day. Fun $10 a day, and then $20 to $30 a day in accommodations. So overall, not including the transportation costs, which would, I would say, with like what I calculated, about $1,000 would be a reasonable goal for transportation, including the Interrail pass and your plane ticket. So I would say about $50 a day for a month. I think that runs you, my math might be mad because I'm just doing some like mental math. So that should be around like $2,500 for 30 days in Europe, which is pretty reasonable, especially including the plane costs. So I would say you definitely can travel very cheaply if you tried to. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Sorry I haven't posted in a while. I've been caught up doing summer classes, but I promise I will be better with uploading. And thank you guys so much for watching.